Hello, hello. Coming on a couple minutes early just to make sure everything is working. You guys are doing well. All right, let's see here. I hate looking to the side for the chat, but that's probably going to be the best way that I can manage it with what I've got going on here. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see if we can do. Yeah, that's going to be the easiest way to do that because I have some stuff I want to share in my browser. So, all right, just coming on early. We will start probably 2 minutes after the hour. Just wanted to come on here live. Like I said, make sure everything was working. It is, yay. So we will just wait. Let me know if you're here. Say hello. Let me know you're listening. You're out there in Facebook world. I'm not just talking into dead air. I'm used to doing that, but actually less so lately, but I did a lot of talking into dead air at first. See if anybody's here. Get my microphone out of the way. Man, you should see the way my face is frozen on my screen. Hi, Shelby. Thank you for joining. So yeah, I haven't yet mastered a great way to keep focused on the camera the whole time. So when I look here, I'm not dismissing you. I'm actually looking at the chat. And then I can focus on the camera again. So again, we're going to start at probably 2 minutes past the hour. So how are you doing, Shelby? What time is it where you are in Australia? It's Tuesday morning, right? Am I correct on that? At least the day. I think you're way ahead of us in time. Hi, Figen. Good to see you. I hope you had a great weekend. I know what time it is where you are. Give it a few more minutes. 8 a.m. Tuesday. Oh, I was going to guess that, but I thought I was getting a little too cocky. Cool. I'm getting better at the time zone thing. Time zone dyslexia is real. And I'm doing everything I can to get over it. And it's been a little chilly and wet here today. Shelby, you guys are going into winter down there. How has it been for you guys today? Oh, actually, it's right smack dab in the middle of winter for you. What's the weather where you are? Give her a minute to type. Yeah, it'd be right past, since we just had our summer solstice, then it'd be right past winter solstice for those below the equator, like New Zealand, Australia. Ooh, 10 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that is cold. Yeah. Not too bad. And it could be worse. Hi, Susan. Good to see you again. So glad you're joining. All right, give it a couple more minutes and then we're going to kick off. So I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently. And I'm going to start by level setting, kind of letting you know what we're doing for the week, setting the stage so you know what to expect. I did carve out an hour for these each night. I doubt we're going to go a full hour, but I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of time for interaction. I want to make this as interactive as possible. I don't want to just be speaking. So I really want to hear what you guys have to say, if what I'm saying is resonating with you. So I wanted to make sure I allowed space for that. Shelby says you don't get snow here. Yeah, that doesn't mean it doesn't get cold though. I grew up in a place that didn't get snow very often, but we got this really super thick fog in the winter that chilled you to your bones worse than most New England days that I've ever had. And this was in the Valley in California in Bakersfield. And it could feel a lot colder in that fog. I mean, this fog was so thick, we had fog delays from school where we would be delayed for 2 hours because it wasn't safe to drive. So, I mean, it's a special kind of fog called Thule fog. Yeah, don't recommend it. It was definitely interesting. All right, we are 2 past the hour. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. These videos will stay up in the group, and I'm also going to upload them onto YouTube. So you'll have multiple places where you can go back and check this out and see what we're talking about. So I want to first set the stage for the week. So we're going to be going through the next 3 nights. I'm going to be setting the stage and really starting to outline and leading up to what I'm going to be covering in full on the masterclass on Thursday. And this is in direct response to the question that I got the most from the summit, which was, how did I do it? And so I really spent time when I was in vacation and really tried to quantify what I had done, because I tried a lot. So I really looked at what were the core pieces, what were the core keys that gave me my freedom from pain. And I haven't experienced pain longer than a couple of minutes for, well, actually pretty much since after the summit. I was really taxing myself when I was doing that. So I had a little bit more going on. But I don't use my heating pads anymore. I still love my body pillow because it's so comfortable. But these are the exact steps. These are the exact keys that I took for my freedom to pain. And that's what I'm going to be sharing in full on Thursday. And this is going to be launching into a new program that I am creating that I'm really excited about. Initially, I'd wanted to do it as a group program, but then upon further thought, I thought it was better to do as a one-to-one first, so I can iron out the kinks, really figure out what is going to be the best. This is the most powerful offer that I've had to date. I cannot wait to share it with you guys, but I want to make sure I'm going through the process. So I will be sharing it on Thursday. So even though I'm saying that there's going to be kinks to iron out, you are going to get a lot out of this. So when I say that, it's okay, how can I make this even better? And so after I've had enough iterations with one-to-one clients, then I'm going to turn this exact program into a group program. So this is something that will be coming over and over and over again that you guys will have available pretty much on a regular basis to join me and go through the keys to freedom for yourself. So I just wanted to start by setting the stage. So a lot of more questions may be answered on Thursday than tonight, but I did want to start again, setting the stage and then going directly into the material itself. So I want to know, so please put by, oh, nice, you cooked breakfast today. Yum, I had a smoothie. I bet you cooked a better breakfast, Shelby. So I would love this to be really interactive. So as I'm saying things, if it is resonating with you, put a 1 in the chat or yes in the chat, something that lets me know like, yes, I'm hitting home. This is me. This is what I'm experiencing on a daily level. So again, I really spent a lot of time really getting clear and really quantifying what I had done, what was the most effective, because there were a lot of things I did that didn't give me as much bang for my buck. And these 8 keys that I've identified, which again, we're going to be going over later in the week in more detail, these keys are what I've used. These are what other people use with different ways. I love using Cogno movement on top of it because it's going to speed everything up. It's going to create those new neural pathways faster. That is a huge part of the program that I'm going to be launching, of course, as well as extra material with it. So there's going to be a lot that you're really going to get for your value. And I like, it's really hard not to tell you guys about it tonight, but I really want to paint the whole picture so that you have a full idea of what this offer is before I put it out there. So, okay, so this is where I want to know how much of this is resonating with you guys. So when you're looking at your state that you're in now, and the state that I used to be in 5 years ago, and before I go into that, I did have improvement really quickly out of the gate using some of these keys, like within weeks. So I don't want you to think you have to wait 5 years to feel good. It's not going to be a linear climb, but it will be an upward direction. So tell me if this resonates. Some of the thoughts and emotions that you're dealing with, you're frustrated, you're angry, maybe tired all the time. I don't really think that's really an emotion, but it's kind of a state of being that tends to be in there. You're feeling really hopeless, maybe riddled with anxiety, really kind of scared. Things keep piling up. You're not sure how you're going to be able to improve the state. Maybe your doctors aren't telling you that there's a whole lot to hope for. Is any of this resonating with you guys so far? Just put something in the chat, a 1, a yes. There's a little bit of a delay in the chat in here, so I want to give that a second to come through. Fatigue, brain fog, yes, yeah. Those can tend to be there, and we're going to talk a little bit more about where some of that is coming from, Shelby. With your relationships, when pain levels start to go up, and I've seen this with other people as well, we actually start to withdraw. So we stop saying yes to invitations because we may wind up having a pain spike, because at some point we've learned if we overcommit ourselves, we're going to spike pain. Then we're down for the count. We're missing work. We feel like we're missing out on lives. For those who are closest to us, we start to feel like we're a burden. We start to feel like maybe these people don't want us around, like they're frustrated with us, and we start to project a lot onto them, and we start to alienate ourselves and feel like we're really alone. Or sometimes we go to the opposite side end and we feel over reliant on people. This is something that I did myself. I got really over reliant on really unhealthy people in my life, and I withdrew from the people who loved me the most. And so it became this very unhealthy dichotomy when I was in that state where I was just double-edged sword of withdrawing, feeling like a burden for the people I loved and needed the most. And then I was over reliant on people who didn't have my best interest at heart. Tell me again, is this, yeah, vegan, tired, sleep deprived, angry? Yes, anger is really common. Hi, Lisa. So glad you joined us. Anger is so common. And I've shared with you guys before, I was pissed off for 40-some-odd years, even before the pain was there. But it all came together in there. And especially when you've had pain suddenly come upon you, when it's been an accident, especially a really traumatic one, it is really hard to let go of that anger in there, because your life was normal until that point. And then someone did something stupid and took that away from you. And in my case, like, I had a slow progression and I was the one doing the stupid stuff. But I know a lot of other people, like a dear friend of mine had a severe skydiving accident. His life was normal before that, and he's been on disability since this accident over 5 years ago. That is a lot of emotion that comes with that, and it really takes a toll on the body. Yeah, thank you, Val. Glad to know this is resonating. With our health, once we start looking for things, it feels like it is a downward spiral where every time you go to the doctor, there's something else wrong. The next thing you know, you're overwhelmed with all these doctor's appointments you're going to. You wonder if you're ever going to be able to get out of it. No one seems to be looking at you as one person. Your orthopedist is telling you one thing. Maybe your rheumatologist is telling you another. Maybe you have a hematologist. Your primary care is just punting you to other people. What other specialties are there out there? I know there's a whole bunch. You may be going to someone specifically for heart stuff because your blood pressure is suddenly going up. Or maybe you've wound up having a TIA as part of this. So now you have a neurologist who's in there. Or maybe you have a neurologist because you have a lot of nerve pain, but no one seems to be looking at this. And it seems like the diagnoses are just piling up, which is then feeding into the problems of feeling hopeless, feeling angry, feeling frustrated. And it continues to just spiral in that. Again, put it in the chat if this is continuing to resonate with you guys. I want to make sure that this is where you guys are as well, to make sure that I'm speaking to the right language for you guys. I'll give another minute there. I hate looking away from the camera. It feels so impersonal. I'm going to keep going with this, and just please keep saying, yes, this resonates. No, it doesn't. When you look at the financial side, you're taking a lot of extra stuff on. There's extra copays, and that's even if insurance covers it. You may be getting to a point where you may be at risk of your insurance, although the government's changed things, at least in the United States, that we don't have that big of a risk, especially if it's through an employer. We're taking a lot of time out of work, so we may start to even worry about losing our job, which again is going to be adding into that anxiety pile at the beginning. And then you have all these raising health costs that are just going on and on and on. And you don't know how this is going to end, continues to get more and more overwhelming, continues to bury you. And all of that continues to make your body feel worse and worse. Yes, Susan, thank you. This is all fitting. And then on the spiritual side, without getting directly into any direct religion, like I do feel that there is a higher power. I refer to it as spirit or source. You start to feel separate from spirit. You start to feel separate from other people. You don't feel connected to anyone the same way that you did before. You start to really feel like a victim and wonder, why you? Why is this happening to you? What the hell did you do to deserve all of these things that are happening in your body, all of this discomfort, all of these diagnoses? And worst case scenario, you start to feel like you're worthless. And that is one of the heaviest things that I've personally ever felt, is feeling like I was a burden and worthless, and no one wanted to help me. And, you may have heard me share before, when I was at my lowest, I felt completely disconnected from source, from God. And I was envying people who had the balls, not a courageous move, by the way, to end their lives. And that was the worst I ever felt. And I'm so, so grateful. And I want to say, if you are in that place now where you're envying people who have taken their lives, or you are considering it yourself, please know this is a moment in time. It absolutely can improve. I do not give a shit what your doctor is telling you. It can and it will improve. And that is exactly what I'm going to be starting to go through this week, is showing you what is possible and how we can start to improve it, and how you can start to let go of some of these things that are overwhelming, bringing you down, keeping you up at night. Insomnia, that tends to be another huge thing that happens. Tired all the time, but then when we go to try to lay down, we're either so uncomfortable we can't sleep, or our mind is racing, or both of these things. And so sleep and the lack of it just continues to make it worse. Yeah, I thought the same too, that your karma, so Val is sharing that she thought her karma must have been horrible. And yeah, I felt that same way too, that like, what the hell did I do to deserve this? And it's so heavy, right? Like, it's one of the heaviest things in the world to think that you deserve this awful state that you're in. And when the doctors are treating you like crap, it doesn't help. Now, and Figen is saying that she hasn't been able to open her store since 2019. That's 4 years that she hasn't been able to live the life that she intended to live. 4 years. That's a long time to have to go without something that matters to you. So if you are at that place, first of all, like, please call National Suicide Hotline, or whatever hotline you have in your country if you were there. But please know, if you're not that bad yet, it absolutely can get better. So on the flip side, and what I have been able to do for clients, what I have been able to do for myself, is instead of feeling hopeless and angry and frustrated, you're feeling hopeful. Joy and bliss become a real thing again. You're able to start laughing again. You are able to feel strong again. You're starting to feel like nothing can stop you, like you are capable of anything in the world. Your social circle starts to get wider. You actually want to hang out with people again, because you can concentrate on something other than your body for the first time in a long time. You're able to be connected and present with your loved ones again. You actually start to enjoy time with them because you can be there with them again. You are not so absorbed with everything going on in your body that you aren't even capable of handling a conversation. And it is so understandable. If you are in that place where you are feeling like you can't have a conversation with someone because it hurts so much, I get it. I have been there. Every single one of those things that I listed on the crappy situation that can come with chronic pain, I have been in every single one of those. I have felt single one of those emotions, and they suck. And they are temporary. Yeah, see, George is like, I've got you, Mom. On the financial side, once we start to come out of it, your expenses are lowering. First of all, you start to get more productive at work. You're more motivated again. You're able to focus for the first time in probably years. Figen, thank you for sharing that. After she started to work with me, she started to play with her kids again. Yes, we start to play with kids and grandkids again. We may even be able to get down on the ground and really play with them, the way that lights them up and gets them cracking up, which gets us laughing more. That joy and bliss continues to just go bigger and bigger and bigger. We can enjoy our pets again instead of them hurting when they're walking on our body. We can start to love on them again. We can start, and they start to feel it. They get all happy. And the energy starts to rise and get better and better in your house. We start to feel more connected to everybody again. We start to get to a place where we feel connected to source and to God again. And we feel like we can actually be of service to other people, because we are getting our cup filled all the time through the people that we love, through our job, through our family, through our friends, through our emotions. We are feeling so good that we have so much to give to others, that we're able to be of service to other people again. We start eating better. We start moving our bodies again. We start gaining strength instead of losing muscle. Our mental health takes a massive uptick. We're sleeping better. We're stressed so much less. And I want to promise you that all of this is possible. And depending on a lot of different factors I'm not going to go into tonight, the degree of possibility is going to vary for everybody. But the one thing that I really want you to take away is you are the one that is going to dictate the degree of possibility for yourself. It is not going to be your doctors. It is not going to be your diagnosis. It is you. You are the one that is going to dictate the level of possibility for yourself. So for those of you who are with me right now, how many of you want to be on that side with the confident, the hopeful, reconnecting with your family, playing with your kids again, being of service, feeling connected to source, feeling connected to God, your financial situation turning around, being productive at work instead of worrying about your job? How many of you want to feel that way instead of how you're feeling right now? Just put a yes in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if this is what you want to do, this is what you desire for yourself. I want to hear who's with me. Yes, Val, sounds fantastic. Yes, absolutely. I think so too. All of this is possible. Yes, Susan. Yes, who else is with me? So cool. So cool. You guys are awesome. Yes, Lisa. Lisa's in. Awesome. Who else is in? Yes, begin. Yes, 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 yes. This is awesome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Want to start getting into what we're talking about today, which is the importance of calming your nervous system. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. It is really hard for me not to tell you how to do this out of the gate. But if I want to make this a sustainable business model where I can keep a roof over my head, I have to wait on the how. The how is coming, I promise. It's not coming tonight, but it is coming. But I really want to make sure you guys are starting to understand this, starting to see maybe whether this is something that is going on with you or not. So let me go ahead and go into that. All right, let's see here. See my crazy desktop. There we go. All right, can everybody see the slide here? Yes, Figen's in too. Woohoo! Love this. You put your right foot in, put your right foot out, put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Just want to make sure you can see it before I dive in. Yes, no. Oh, George is purring and joining me. The chat totally froze. Okay, I'm going to assume you guys can still see this. Yes, okay. Thank you, Pam. Hi, Pam. So glad you're here. All right, so this training is the road to unstoppable. You are on your way to freedom this week. So for those who don't know me, my name is Katie Wrigley. I am a transformational coach and I specialize in transforming trauma and pain. And I am also a level 2 cognitive movement practitioner. This is one of my favorite ways to be able to help tap into the body and really tap into your own ability to heal. I also have a podcast called The Pain Changer. Invite you to check it out if you would like to, but that is just me in a quick nutshell. I will be telling my story in more depth on Thursday in the masterclass, the more edited version, because I don't go back into the levels of pain too much anymore past what I already did tonight. So, all right. So talking about the importance of calming the nervous system. So signs that your nervous system is overactive. And again, I want to hear in the chat, if you guys are here in the chat, see in the chat, if any of these are happening to you. You're experiencing anxiety. You may be riddled with anxiety or taking medications to help anxiety. You have insomnia. You have a hard time sitting still or focusing. You may have even been told that you have adult onset ADHD or adult onset ADD, something similar to that. You have a really hard time focusing on anything outside of the pain and the suffering that is inside your body. At the same time, you may also be having racing thoughts or what we call monkey mind, especially when you're going to lay down at night. You lay down and suddenly your brain is vroom, and it takes off on all the catastrophic thinking and all the scary things and all the things that all those negative emotions in your body, the hopelessness, the fear, the frustration, the anger are all driving for you. And the next thing you know, you're in knots, constantly worried. Your stress is like through the roof. Maybe your blood pressure is even showing signs of this stress. Chronic pain. That's something else where we know that the nervous system is starting to get on fire. And sometimes that can be a chicken or an egg. Sometimes we start to get in pain and then the nervous system revs up. But a lot of times the nervous system is actually revving up. We don't realize it until we get into chronic pain. And that was what was happening with me. I was riddled with anxiety for decades before my body just disabled me in 2018. Is like, you need to sit your butt down and deal with this. And I did. I'm so glad I did. Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad this is, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. And I'm glad that this is resonating. You are in the right place. All right. The next, so what is under the covers? So when your nervous system is overactive like this, it is slowing and halting the healing process. It is creating chronic inflammation. A lot of times it's throwing off the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome and brain health are so closely connected. It is unbelievable. That is why the diet is, you hear everybody talking about a diet. You're going to hear me talking about it later this week too. Continuing to create more mental anguish for yourself because you are just, your nervous system is on fire. It can even start to take tolls into things like autoimmune disease or chronic regional pain syndrome or CRPS. These are all different conditions that start to come up from the body being in this heightened state of awareness, because when we are in fight or flight, which is what an overactive nervous system is, we cannot be in rest and digest. And rest and digest is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is where healing happens. Guys with me so far? Hi, Jessica. Yeah, I'm so sorry that you're suffering too. You are in the right place. It's going to get better as the week goes on, I promise. It's also aging you faster. So one of the stats that blew my mind with chronic pain is that we lose 11% of the gray matter in our brains, which is the equivalent of 10 to 20 years of aging. So it is not your imagination that you feel older. Just to validate that for you, I actually feel younger than I did 10 years ago now. So the good news with that is when we get to that positive side, when we're getting to the joy and the bliss and the confidence and the unstoppable and the capability and all of that, neuroplasticity is our best friend in all of this. We can get back that gray matter that we lost. We can change new neural pathways. We can shift things. We can slow the aging process. I actually look younger and better than I did a decade ago, like for real. Right? Maybe my hair was a little bit better then, but my face, my skin, I look so much healthier. My eyes are brighter. They're wider. Like, I don't know how that happened, but my eyes are wider than they've ever been before. And for people who knew me a decade ago, they're like, yeah, you know, and people knew me in my 20s when I hadn't faced any of this yet. Like, I'm hearing that I look better now than I did in my 20s, which, how crazy is that? And it's because everything has changed. So anything you see here, please do not let it add to your worry list, because all of this can be reversed, maybe at different paces, but all of this, or at least most of this, can be reversed. Another toll that it takes, it starts affecting the hardware, which is a term that I'm borrowing from LJ Johnson. And when you've had this stress condition running in the body, it starts to affect the mitochondria. You're not going to feel relaxed just because you go take a yoga class or just because you go meditate for 30 minutes. The pain may take a little bit longer to get away as well. And like I said, like, it's creating the environment for disease. This is where multiple sclerosis can start to come in. This is where other autoimmune diseases can start to come in. This is where CRPS can start to come in, something that I was diagnosed with. Central sensitization, that's the mind being so overly sensitive that your body, like, you literally can't be touched without someone bruising you. These are all things that happen when the nervous system is on fire. And I do want to share one piece of good news with you guys. This is all the content that I had in there. So I want to share a little bit about where I am with my own health right now, because you guys know I'm 100% transparent all the time. So like I said, I don't have any pain. I'm actually sleeping really well for the most part. I still wake up a couple times, you know, and my history was I went 40 years of ignoring a trauma, and I have been dealing with it for 5. 5 years is not enough to completely reverse 40 years of neglect and a high running stress pattern. I started having anxiety attacks when I was 11 years old. I am 48. I was taking benzos and different psychotropics starting when I was, I think 12 is the first time someone gave me an antidepressant, maybe 14. No, I think I was 12. And then in my 20s, they started to give me benzos, and I kept trying different psychotropics, and I kept trying all these things until I finally started to deal with what the root cause, which was the trauma that I had been ignoring my entire life. And so as a result, and a lot of this is because of cognitive movement. So my mitochondria, like that overactive nervous system, my hardware's been affected. And the good news is I'm doing something now. I caught it early when I was actually expecting to be told I was a lot healthier than I am, because I don't have any pain. So I really actually thought I was okay because my check engine light has gone off. But there's more work to do to get that stress pattern unwound from my body. And so I've been very actively carving out multiple times. I've been getting up, no joke, between 5 and 5:30 a.m. to be able to spend time in the morning before I have to do anything else, so that I'm doing these things that need to be done to calm down my nervous system. And it's going to work. And I'm taking supplements, and I'm working with LJ Johnson to help calm everything down. But that stress pattern was running with me for so long that even despite being able to knock it down with cognitive movement, and trust me when I say I am so much less stressed than I was 5 years ago, like night and day. Even from cognitive movement's been around for 3 years for me, way less stressed than I was. I hardly have any caffeine. I have matcha or I have chai tea in the morning. I used to be drinking a half a pot of coffee to be able to cope. All of that has changed, and I don't have any physical parts of pain. So it's really, really easy for me to be able to focus just on the stress pattern and be able to fix with different mindset things, cognitive movement. This is really cool. Even as you're doing a detox, you can reprogram how your body is responding to the detox so it's more comfortable. But I do want to let you know, I am still doing the work myself, and I have a completely full life. I am able to really knock out and opt out of stress on a regular basis, but it has not come out of my hardware yet. I still have a little bit more work to get that stuff underneath the covers. But like I said, I'm sleeping really well. Some of my organs that have been affected by this are what wake me up in the middle of the night. Like I pee a lot. I have a little bit of chronic inflammation in my arms that I haven't gotten rid of yet. But overall, I feel good. I have amazing energy. I'm moving my body 7 days a week. I'm learning how to eat for my body. I feel like I'm so motivated every day, especially taking out this extra time for myself in the morning. It feels really good. So I do just want to, full transparency, I know how it feels. And the good news is we start to improve and feel better within days and weeks once we start doing this. And it may take a little while to fully unravel it, depending on how long it's been there, and you will feel relief right away. Yes, Jessica, this is recorded, so you will be able to watch it later. Lisa's saying, yeah, you bruise super easy. Yep. So Lisa, you may actually have what I had, which was called centralized sensitization, where your whole body is hypersensitive to pain to a point where, if someone touches you too hard, you wind up bruising. And I've bruised easily for a long time. I don't actually bruise easily at all anymore. Like if I have a bruise, I'm like, it startles me, but I've usually like knocked the crap out of myself on something to get a bruise. And even then it's amazing. And the other way it came out is I used to get my eyebrows like waxed. And I've been doing this since my 20s. So my skin had been completely immune to it. But when I was at my heightened state of pain, they started to bleed again. When they were waxing, it freaked out the poor lady that was doing my eyebrows. She was like, oh my God, you're bleeding. My pain levels are really high. And my whole body was just screaming for help. And I'd had warnings for years before I did something. I remember a friend of mine who's now passed, like telling me, he's like, your body is screaming. Because I was breaking out in hives every day. He's like, this is not normal. Your body is asking you for something. It is screaming for something. If you were breaking out in hives every day, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So let me see. Every day is work, even after you complete. Yes, Lisa, that's a great point. Every day is work. Even after you complete the work, you still have maintenance to do. Absolutely. And I would say that I'm definitely in maintenance mode now. And it's a pleasure. Like, it is not even hard at all to muster motivation, where I was like, you've heard me say before, I was a cat over bathtub before. I just didn't want to have to do this work. And now it's a pleasure. And somewhere along that way, when we go from that hopeless state, when we feel like we're at rock bottom, to that beautiful, enlightened state with joy and bliss, somewhere along the way, there's a shift that happens, and you stop looking at what else hurts and wondering how you can get out of pain. And you start looking at, how healthy can I get? How much better can I feel? Oh, wow, I didn't even realize that that ached. And now that the ache is gone, I feel so much better. What else can I do to help myself? So the journey gets more and more fun as you go. And I'm going to be on this journey for the rest of my life. If I slack on my wellness, I'm going to go back to how I felt before. This is a big lifestyle change. And that's, going to be the basis that you guys are going to be hearing about in the program. I'm going to be giving you the tools to make these lifestyle changes for yourselves. Yes, Lisa, seeing the progress and feeling the progress. That is one of the best motivators you can have. And that is why I love this so much, is that in one session, and Shelby can attest to this too, you can feel a difference in one session. And depending how many layers are there, depending how complex this issue is for you, is going to depend on how far that skates you into the future. But if there is a recurrence of pain, one of the things that I want you to look at is, first of all, it's probably not going anywhere near as bad as the pain was before. That's going to be your mind playing tricks on you. But the other piece is, it just means that there is another layer that is available to you now that may not have been available to you before. So when you can start to look at your body giving you these messages as different layers that you can now sort through, you really start to take off. And the journey is legit. I love it. Like, I don't mind taking the supplements I'm taking. I'm figuring out a way to be able to cover the expense so that I can have this care that I need. This works for me so much better than traditional medicine. And I am working on this now before anything is wrong, because in full disclosure, if I did nothing for the next 5 or 6 years, I would probably be looking at cancer. That's the way the body was going before I took a look under the covers, again, expecting to be much healthier than what is actually showing up. But I'm not worried. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to remain cancer-free, because I'm doing this now before that switch has been flipped. So I'm going to stay healthy for a very long time. And that's how I know that I can replicate this over and over again. And Figen, thank you so much for sharing. We've only had a few sessions. She's already seeing a big difference in her life too. So the changes can be really quick. Even if it is a longer journey, focus on the now. And we're going to continue to move forward. So I want to open it up. Does anybody have any questions from tonight? And then before we wrap, I'm going to let you know what we're talking about tomorrow night as well. Let's see. Yeah, Jessica's saying it's frustrating. You're doing so much for self-care and it takes time. And when you don't feel instant results, it makes you question if it's working. That's a really good point, Jessica. So that may be a good chance. Self-care, I love that you're doing that. And thank you so much, because what you're doing for yourself is helping everybody around you. Everything that we do to help release it out of our body, we do it for everybody else on the planet, especially the people we are connected to the most. So everything you're doing for yourself right now, you are benefiting your family. You can absolutely keep doing this, but take a look at some of the things that you're doing in your self-care routine. Really check in with your body before and after you're doing them. So let's say you're doing meditation, for example. Check in before and after. How are you feeling? And look down at your body as you're doing this, because that'll really help you connect. Look down at your body and ask, okay, how am I feeling right now? What is my pain level? What is my stress level? Go and do whatever self-care it may be, whether it's massage, meditation, whatever, a treatment, whatever it may be. And then gauge that and write it down ahead of time. Because again, your mind is going to want to play tricks on you until you've started to prove that you can come out of this state. The subconscious is going to kind of keep trying to hook you back in, like that horrible person on stage is pull that hook and try to keep you in it. Like I remember my mind trying to play tricks on me 4 months after cognitive movement, tell me my back hadn't improved, where I'd actually just done 4 times the amount of things I had done before for half of the pain level that used to be my norm. So your mind will play tricks on you. And I'm going to teach you how to stop that and be like, not today, mind. We're not doing that. Thank you, but we're good. And this is what the real truth is. So just check in there, Jessica, and see what is helping. And it may be that you're doing some self-care. If you want to share kind of what you're doing in there, I may be able to help give a little timeline as far as what you can expect to start to see. Some things you're going to see very quickly with results. Others are going to take longer. And so some of it is like with gratitude, as an example. I love my gratitude practice, still have a gratitude practice to this day. Recommend it to other people to have a gratitude practice as well. That was not an instant one. That took, gosh, I'm not even sure. It took a while until it became automatic to be positive. I'm not really sure how long. And that one was much more subtle in my body, but that positive thinking came before the sensations in the body. But that would be a good example. Gratitude practice, that is one that is going to take a little bit time to build up until you're noticing. So just as an example there. And yes, Lisa, I agree. Jessica, you can absolutely do it. And you will find whatever it is that is going to give you the most bang for your buck. I can assure you, because you're already trying this. I thank you again for doing that. And I want to cheer you on. And Lisa is right. Patience, that is one of the big things to help along this journey, and really stopping and analyzing what your body is telling you so that you can check in with it and see, like, is this something that's working for me? You know, and you could always stop doing it for a couple of days. And if you start to feel worse, that's another answer. It's helping you. It may be subtle. And then you can go back to again, you'll probably be able to undo or redo whatever you undid in a couple of days and get back to your baseline really quickly. But that's something else you can try, like the patches that Beth sells, these, like that's pretty subtle. I didn't notice the degree that they were helping until I stopped wearing them. You know, and actually stress has been low enough, I haven't even been wearing them each day. Like I'm still wearing the brain one because, you know, some of the stuff I'm fixing in my body makes it a little bit harder to focus sometimes. So I'm using the ones that help me focus more. And that makes a pretty big difference, but I didn't notice it until I took it away. So that's another option, just as you're analyzing this for yourself, Jessica, that may help. Any other questions or comments? I'm just going to go back through the chat here, see if there's any others I missed. Oh, Jessica probably already had to leave. All right. Anyone else have anything? What is the patch? It is Socks on the Docs. So I'll put that in the chat, socksonthedock.com. So it's the Super Patch Company, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. One, Deanna, that you may want to try, they have a freedom patch, which helps. And so it's just a tactile pattern that sends your brain a signal. And so the freedom patch actually helps with overall pain, but they've got a patch for everything. Beth is an amazing resource. If you have any questions, I believe that her phone number or her email is directly on there. Please reach out to her with any questions there, or, you know, I'm also happy to connect anybody. You guys have got my email address, say, hey, you know, can you help me reach out to Beth? I have some questions. I'm happy to facilitate that for you guys. Let's see, not consistently meditating, probably every couple of days. I do positive self-talk and gratitude every day. Oh, I love that. I paint or do something crafty nearly every day, but I've only been doing it for a couple of weeks. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. It sounds like you are really doing amazing things to help yourself. Oh, I love that you sing too. No, that's so good. That brings out the feminine, the flow, the singing. So painting and doing something crafty, that's going to be stimulating the right side of the brain, the creative center, which is going to help with the stress and the pain, which comes from the left side of the brain. So keep doing that, Jessica. It is going to be a little bit longer. You've had years and years of chronic stress. It's going to take a little bit longer until you're really feeling the benefits of that. Yeah, and if you're able, would it maybe be easier, I hear sometimes, and there's different schools of thought with this, so please feel free to play with this on your own. If you're able to consistently meditate for maybe a smaller window of time, like maybe just 5 minutes a day, and see if that has any effect on it. But if you've only been doing this for a week, that is a lot of change at once. And I commend you for doing all that. That is just awesome. I'm guessing you are a badass, because that is amazing changes to be doing. The positive self-talk is fantastic. The only thing I want to mention in there, make sure you're not using negations. Like, I am not in pain, because the brain doesn't hear negations. So let me give this as an example. Don't think about an elephant. What are you thinking about? An elephant. The negation gets overlooked. So state clearly what you desire. I want to be pain-free. I am pain-free. I am abundant. I am wealthy. I am mobile. I am beautiful. I am worthy of love. I am love. Make sure the self-talk, if you weren't already doing this, maybe you were, but make sure there aren't any negations in there, because the brain is going to look for evidence of whatever you're giving it. So if you state clearly what you want in the positive, it's more likely to start to come in. But that it can take a little while to start to feel the effects. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing it, keep singing, keep doing your paints and your crafts. That is going to help your body start to feel better and start to lower your stress. So well done on all of those practices. And I love that you're doing a gratitude practice too. It's still one I do every day. Love my body. Thank you. You're doing amazing. I can heal. Yes. Yes. Good. Good. That's perfect. No negations in there. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions in here? Oh, this has been great. Thank you guys for being so interactive with me. And I'm waiting for some more questions. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about what may be underneath the pain and stress. Some of the emotions that can be driving these things, that are creating the anxiety, that are creating the physical pain, and that correlation in there, and a lot of evidence to show that. Because this was something, I don't know if anybody else was like this. A couple of my clients that I know, I'm not pointing any fingers. This can be a tricky one, especially if you've been really good about compartmentalizing and pushing things down for most of your life. It can be really hard to understand the correlation between physical and emotional pain. So there can be a lot of resistance to that one, but we're going to dive into that tomorrow. We're going to start to have some fun, start to have a few giggles. Like, I'm going to bust out my Louise Hay book. I love this thing. It's a manual. So we'll go over some of those tomorrow. I'm going to have you guys tell me different body parts that are hurting. We're going to see some of the potential emotional connections, not putting anything on anybody. It may or may not be true. It may or may not apply to you. But this has been really powerful in my experience. I kind of use it like as a manual sometimes when my body's squawking, or I did use it as a manual and my body was squawking. Now, like, if I just discover it, it just goes away. So, but I'm still keeping that on hand for myself in case that ever changes. You've been attempting some diet changes. Awesome. Figen, you'd like to learn more about detoxing and meditation, please. Okay, we can get into that later in the week, some of the benefits. We will definitely go into that. And when I see you this week, we can go into that directly. How does that sound, Figen? How have you been feeling on the diet changes, Lisa? Just thumbs up, thumbs down? Not sure yet. I'm going to see if I can move you guys over here so that I'm not constantly pulling away from. Here we go. All right, now I can look at the camera at the same time. Cool. Not sure yet. Cool. We'll keep it up. I hope it works for you. Fingers crossed. Yeah, listening to the body and making some diet changes, sometimes that can be a struggle. So mad respect to you, Lisa, for doing that for yourself. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really hope that it helps to start to yield the results you're looking for. Anybody else have anything they want to add or ask? Don't think I've made enough to make quite a difference quite yet. That's okay. Like you were saying with patience, and going slowly, even if it's more frustrating, it's easier to find what's actually working versus if we throw 10 things at it and then we feel a lot better. It's like, well, which one worked to which degree? It can be hard to see. And I know that from personal experience, because once I had a little bit of leeway, I threw everything at it that I could possibly throw at it. And then I'm like, well, I don't know what worked. And then I got burned out and then stopped my wellness routine to that degree, started to have pain again. Then I discovered cognitive movement, and the rest is history. But yeah, it can be very easy to get overwhelmed. It can get easy to overcommit. And it can also be hard to figure out what actually is helping you the most when we make a lot of changes at once. Right. See if anybody else is in. This is awesome. I didn't think we were going to be going this long. You guys have been amazing. I love this group. You guys are so interactive. You're so I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Give a couple more seconds. All right, this video is going to be available in here. Like I said, I'm also going to load it up on YouTube too. So you guys will have it in multiple places, but I'm going to make sure I pin it as a featured. So a few people reached out to me. They weren't going to be able to join tonight. They wanted to know how long it was there. So I've promised to put this as a featured. Thank you so much, Lisa. And thank you, Val. I'm so glad that you're joining us. It is my pleasure. Hope is a powerful thing. And every single one of you, I've seen what a lot of you are going through, and every single one of you has a reason to hope. I know that at my core, and I'm here to help you see it too. So thank you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. I will be back again tomorrow. We'll start talking about the fun stuff, the correlation between emotions and physical pain. And all of this is leading up to Thursday with the masterclass, introducing my strongest offer to date. I can't wait to share that with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will check on this chat tomorrow as well. Thank you, Pam, for joining me. Thank you, Susan, Lisa, Deanna, Val, Jessica, Figen, Shelby. If I'm missing any of you, I'm so sorry. You see, I think I said hello to everybody in the chat. Susan, love Susan. Pam, thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.